Brad Evans here. It's time to bring the noise. Week 1 of the NFL season, the main slate about to kick off. And I know you're thirsty. I know you're hungry. You need some fantasy football advice, maybe some sports betting dilemmas that you're debating right now. Well, guess what? I'm here for the next several minutes to assist you with all your various gaming endeavors. There are 3 different ways you get a hold of me here on the program. And if you're watching this on the X or the Twitter, you might have to go to one of these places to submit your question. I'm not sure if any tweets, zeets, whatever the hell we're calling it nowadays, are going to show up in the comments section. But I know these 3 avenues work properly. Go to Facebook at Yahoo Noise, submit your question there. Go to the Twitch at Big Noise 78 and interact with me via that platform, or on the YouTube and the Fade the Noise channel. I'm going to give you some of my favorite player props here on the main slate in week number 1. Which, ultimately plays into whether or not you're going to start to sit some guys. So some of the bigger names, obviously, are going to be captain obvious selections to be in your starting lineup. But regardless, I am here to be a man of the people. Let's party, baby. Bill Belichick style. Although New England could get crushed today, we shall see. The main slate is underway, so crack a beer. Come with me, sit back, and pack a little buzz here over the next several minutes. And again, those 3 different ways to get a hold of me. Now, the big news story today really is a tight end mess that's going on in fantasy football. We knew that Travis Kelce, of course, missed the Thursday night football opener, which royally sucked on several levels, except for mandatory Montgomery punching one in. Elsewhere, a lot of the unknowns became knowns, and they weren't necessarily pretty in that particular contest. The strongest takeaway from the Thursday night opener was Isaiah Pacheco running 19 routes, catching 4 balls over 30 yards. Certainly a silver lining in an otherwise forgettable night for him, but if that pass roll continues in a prominent fashion moving forward, he could greatly exceed expectations, as I believe his workload on the ground is going to ramp up. And, of course, it's going to be the primary goal line back there in KC. But really, again, the big storyline, no Kelce. You've heard that on Thursday, saw that on Thursday. And that has become contagious as Mark Andrews, the popular number 2 tight end that came off the board fantasy drafts, he is inactive officially right now for the Baltimore Ravens. And we don't know about Darren Waller. Very iffy, and unfortunately, with that game kicking off under the prime time lights between the Giants and the Cowboys, really a dice roll unless you have some other options either tied to that game or maybe the Monday night affair between the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets. So you can pivot if necessary. But the moral of the story is this. If you have a tight end right now, maybe you picked up Isaiah Likely, who I think is going to be a top 10 option for you, or somebody else, maybe a Luke Musgrave, have Jake Ferguson waiting in the wings tonight in case Darren Waller can't go. I always go with a non-injured player and play safety first out of the gate to ensure I don't get a big fat donut in the box score, though that's far from a guarantee as well. So just kind of a blanket statement, journal advice that I give the people that are out there is lean on some of those alternative options. I just laid out a few names and roll the dice, clack-a-clack style, and hopefully it's going to come through with some meaningful statistical results here in week number 1. So it just sucks at tight end. Although George Kittle is going to play, we'll see how much he's going to be involved in the pass game for the Gold Panthers on the road in their matchup against the Steel Tanners and the Pittsburgh Steelers. He could be more line-tied in this game. The tight end just really blows pretty much every year in fantasy football. Case in point, week 1 of the 2023 NFL season. All right. As your comments, your questions are locking and loading, let me give you my top 5 player props. And again, if you're not familiar with what I do, I cover a lot of sports betting. I've always been a sports bettor at my core, at the heart. Cover fantasy football for this now my 19th season. Started very humbly at talentedmr.com. I worked my way up at Yahoo Sports. I was there for 13 years, started my site, briefly exited that, and then joined Bally Sports, where they just laid me off here recently. So unfortunately, I'm looking for a writing gig, but live on the line. I hope you're watching that show every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern time across the Bally Sports RSNs. And at Stadium, you can stream the show at watchstadium.com/live. Again, watchstadium.com/live. I'm giving my hot, sizzling sports betting takes alongside my co-captains, Danny Kleppinger, Cameron Smith, Tank Williams making appearances, Senior Fun Buns on every single Friday. Re-teaming with me, that's Brandon Funst, if you don't know. Again, get all of the big noise that you can handle, unless you really hate me. By all means, tune in and fade the living daylights out of me on Live at the Line, noon Eastern time, Monday through Friday, across the Bally Sports RSNs, and at watchstadium.com/live, watchstadium.com/live. So some of these may be familiar to you, but let's go ahead and dive in cannonball splash style. Anthony Richardson, numero 5 here on my countdown of favorite player props here on the main slate. I say it's an anytime touchdown. Now, if you look at the odds, they have fluctuated across the board every single place. And nobody has been static in this regard. I saw it as high as plus 240, where I grabbed it instantaneously at Caesars when this opened. Now the best line of the business, plus 160 at FanDuel. I think Richardson's going to be a borderline top 10 quarterback here in week number 1. I wrote about it on my Fantasy Flames. Yeah, I don't have a writing platform right now, but I'm still pushing out my takes, and they're always sizzling, and they're always en fuego, and always hot at Noisy Huevos on the X. So posted this yesterday, full rundown, and go and read it right now at Noisy Huevos on the X on Anthony Richardson. I took the under on 198.5 pass yards, but I think he's going to do damage on the ground. The Jacksonville Jaguars allowed the third most rushing yards to the quarterback position of any team in the league. Last year, they have a suspect defense. My buddy Mike Clay, in fact, ranked this interior line bottom 10 entering the regular season. And in the defense overall, he's got it number 24. That's it on the year. So a lot of question marks, a lot of susceptibility, I feel, is going to be up front. And when you're 6'4", 244 pounds, he can move piles. A poor man's Jalen Hurts, if you will. I don't know if he can squat elephants like Jalen does in the gym, but I think Anthony Richardson, if the Colts are knocking at the door on an RPO play or 2 or 3, is going to be calling his own number and punching one in. So I love him for an anytime TD plus 160 there at FanDuel. Numero 4, the player props board, Courtland Sutton, another fantasy flame I wrote about and posted on the X yesterday. I took the over when the line opened at 49.5 receiving yards. And yeah, I plucked that low-hanging fruit and shoved it in my pie hole. I still like the over on the new line. It's climbed a full 5 yards at 54.5. Jerry Jeudy out, not expected to play in this game. So you got to go to Marvin Mims. You got to be checking out all day to Samaje Perine, Javonte Williams, or that other elevated backup running back that Sean Payton is talking up. Maybe going to get some Greg Dulcich. I think that all those are certainly on the table, those cards, but the ace in the hole is Courtland Sutton, a guy that's a long drink at 6'3", got a great wingspan, occasionally has, really shown out in the box score. I think he is going to step up to the plate and knock one out of the park against the Raiders, who are not going to be so stingy, I believe, against the pass this season. You got to see a lot of Nate Hobbs, a former Illini, in coverage. And Hobbs last season allowed a 108.1 passer rating and 70.0 catch percentage to his assignments. You look at the unrealized air yards for Courtland Sutton. He was number 17 in that category last year. Those unrealized air yards from a season ago, oh, baby, I feel they're going to be realized here in week number 1. A guy that was still top 24 in route win percentage, according to Player Profiler, and he totaled to the 11th most deep targets. So, yeah, Seattle, yeah, Denver, yeah, we got to do it. Russell Wilson, Mr. Pudge, Mr. Unlimited, I think is going to spin some passes in Sutton's general direction, couple of chunk gains, nickel and dime the rest, and I think he gets the over there, 54.5 receiving yards. And for fantasy, I got him ranked as a back-end wide receiver too, like 21-22 in 12-team half-point PPR formats. All right, moving on. Leg numero tres here on the player props countdown. DJ Moore. Hey, Mr. DJ. If you know that 90s reference, you know what I'm talking about right there. I think is going to get at least 4 receptions. So give me the over on the 3.5 against Green Bay Packers. The Earth Rivals there in that afternoon showcase game. -110 at BetMGM. This is all about building the confidence up of Justin Fields as a passer. A lot of people are really critical. A lot of people have put him under the microscope saying, well, he's an extraordinary athlete and runner, but, when defense is key on that, maybe they're going to do so more. Is he a guy that can twirl the pigskin and do so accurately? Well, that was one of his calling cards at the Ohio State. I have to say so I don't infringe on copyright. But you look at Fields, I think straight away, what you saw the preseason, and I know it's exhibition football, doesn't mean jack nor squat. You're going to see similar what he showed in the second game, I think in the opener. Some design streams, some quick hitters to DJ Moore to inspire and instill that confidence. And why not do it to the sure-handed guy? You look at DJ Moore last season with Carolina. When targeted, the quarterbacks only posted an 80.0 passer rating. Inexcusable, really a wasted talent. Many weeks, in that capacity, in that location, but that is not going to be the case in the Windy City. So I'm piling high the Jardinera. You never forget the Jardinera, by the way, on a tube meat. And it's go down with a little of that extra spice on DJ Moore and that over 3.5 receptions. Doesn't matter if he gets Rasul Douglas, or he draws Jair Alexander in this game. I think he's catching at least 4 balls. Numero dos of the player props countdown. Give me rub-a-dub-dub, Nick Chubb. Yeah, let's get that bottle service behind the velvet rope at the Chubb Club, baby. And I'm going to grind on that brass pole on the over 12.5 receiving yards against the intrastate rival Cincinnati Bengals, a -115 at DraftKings. Wrote about this, posted it as my sledgehammer special on the X. So if you want the long-winded written version of my backing of this prop, go to Noisy Huevos on the X right now and consume it. But I think Chubb gets there. The coaching staff has really talked up his route running ability, his ability to catch the ball. Is going to play a more prominent role as a pass catcher this season. I'd be shocked if he didn't, with Kareem Hunt looking for work and no longer a member of this franchise. A year ago, just number 32 among all running backs in target share percentage, number 28 in routes run percentage, average 12.8 routes run per game. I think the number's going to be between 15 and 17 this year. And, he did net 8.9 yards per catch a year ago, with his supreme yak ability and those developing hands, and the fact you're going against a Bengals defense. You went under in one game, but over in the last game, 3 for 20 through the air, the Chubb log. And knowing the Bengals gave up 4.4 receptions, over 30 receiving yards per game in RBs, I say get that tall bottle, that magnum with great goats at the Chubb Club, and party hard. He's hit the over on 12.5 receiving yards, got him for 15-18 projected in this game. Finally, numero uno on my player props countdown, Jamal Williams. I say he has an anytime touchdown against the Tennessee Titans at +150. Yeah, gets seduced by that juice at BetMGM. Now, BetMGM just tweeted out the most liability they have of any time touchdown prop. Anyone available on the board is indeed tied to Jamal Williams. And it's for good reason, because BetMGM had the best odds all week long on this prop of +150. I saw FanDuel at one point had it at -140. So if you're all about squeezing every last drop of that juice, by all means, I'd say take advantage of BetMGM, assuming that prop is still in the same vicinity, odds-wise at +150, while you still can. Jamal Williams got to be the main man. Kendra Miller, inactive. We know Alvin Kamara's out due to the suspension. I'd be shocked if he didn't get 15 to 17 carries in this game. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Brad, the Tennessee Titans have arguably a top 10 interior defensive line. Yes, they do. And they were damn stingy last season. They only allowed 7 touchdowns to the running back position, along with 3.38 yards per carry to rushers as well. But Williams is a guy that, he's got a bloodhound nose, and that nose knows the chalk. He's going to find it. And if it's anywhere close to, punching one end, he's going to do so, because last season he scored 17 times with the Packers, and 14 of those 17 TDs came within 4 yards. So hopefully Derek Carr will be able to move the ball vertically, maybe with some Chris Olave, maybe Michael Thomas as a resurrection of sorts. Here in the opener, Jawan Johnson, another one of those plug-and-play options at tight end if you're looking for one Mark Andrews backer. But pull it all together, and I think Jamal Williams going to get maybe 3 to 5 red zone touches in this game. And if he does, one of those is going to splash for 6, baby, at plus 150 there at BetMGM. All right, I gave you some player props. I gave you some tight end backup options. And right now, I want to hear from you. Bring the noise. Submit your questions via the Facebook at Yahoo Noise, on the Twitch at Big Noise 78, or on YouTube on the Feed of the Noise channel. I'm going to be here all season long, you jackwagons, at 11 o'clock Central Time. So this isn't just some appetizer. It's a main course, and you're going to be feeding and eating up all this information all season long, because I don't have a television show on Sundays anymore right now, and I don't have a platform to deliver my hot and spicy takes. So the only way that I can do so and scratch that itch, because that was one of the first people that was on air, whether streaming or on television, when Fantasy Football Live launched way back in 2006. I'd like to say I had a full head of hair. It was long, it was flowing, it was Fabio-like, but no. There's a reason why I'm wearing a bucket hat filled with fake dollar bills on it, because there's not much up here anymore. And there wasn't a whole lot back in 06 either. So if you have stuck with me all these years, I greatly, greatly appreciate your support. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in with the first question today, coming from Hockey Nut on the Twitch. 41, bring the noise! Hollywood Brown, a little bit iffy right now. He's got a little bit of a soft tissue issue, or Raheem Mostert. I know it's a very popular spin on Mostert's last name to say Mostert is a must start, but I like to squirt a little Mostert all my tube meat and munch on it, chew it up, and take it down. I'm consuming Mostert all day long. If you look at my player props spreadsheet, always free, always transparent, and always available. You could view it right now via my @Noisy Huevos X account. So just scroll down, you'll see the link right there. Punch in, and you're going to see a lot of Mostert action in there, because I grabbed his rush yards line as soon as it populated across the sports books. It opened at 54.5, temporarily dipped to 52.5, slammed it again, and now it has spiked many locations, high 60s, low 70s is that line, and that's honestly where it should have opened at, because Mostert is a guy, when he gets touches, he does work. Don't know? Well, let me give you the evidence to support that belief. Last season, in which he played at least 65% of the snaps, it was a 5-game span. He eclipsed 60 yards in 4 of those 5 games. I know the offensive line is rated to be a top 10 projected unit, but Mostert is a guy that gets appreciable yak. He was number 8 in yards after contact per attempt last season. Outstanding 3.52 according to PFF. In that category, forced a missed tackle 21.5% of the time. And you're getting the Chargers. And the Chargers were electrocuted on the ground a season ago. They gave up 5.6 yards per carry to RBs and 127.3 just rush yards per game. And just to the running back position, 16 guys got into the 60-plus yard mark against them. And I know no 2 years are the same, and they're looking to improve in that category, but I think they have a bit of a Kilimanjaro to climb to gain respectability in that category. So I believe that Raheem Mostert is going to get 15 to 17 touches. And I think he ultimately ceiling could go over the century mark with a touchdown. It would not shock me any form or fashion if he finished well inside the top 10 among fantasy running backs here in week number 1. So play Raheem Mostert or, squirt that Mostert on your sandwich. Next up, Sutton, 2785 on YouTube. Hola, amigo. Hola to you. Please sit 1.5 point PPR. Really? Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, or Ken Walker? It's got to be Flowers for me. And look, I know that Mark Andrews is out, and that gives an opportunity path, fairly clear one for him. But still, you got Bateman. You still got OBJ. You still got Isaiah Likely. You got the running backs going to be active. Could be a ground and pound kind of format, though the Baltimore Ravens have said we want to be more of an aerial assaulting team. And we'll see. Weather could play a little bit of a factor, expected rains there. But the guy probably with the lowest ceiling and the lowest floor as well is the rookie in his first NFL regular season game in Zay Flowers. Give me Ridley, give me Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, and give me Ken Walker. No, I'm not worried about the tender love muscle. He is going to be A-OK. It's the freaking Rams. They're going to be awful this year, even with Aaron Donald on the field. Ezekiel says, hola, amigo. Hola to you. Jaden Reed, talented slot or wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Got to get a lot of run today with Christian Watson out. A.J. Dillon could also see a spike in workload. Michael Thomas or Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, kick him the curb. Sayonara. See you later. Michael Thomas is interesting. Reed is very interesting. And Dillon is also fascinating. Given the PPR element, I'm going to lean ever so slightly to Michael Thomas, who's got a lot to prove. Obviously, he was a world-renowned wide receiver a handful of seasons ago, been battling through injuries, is healthy, and has been very quiet. Hasn't been chirping a whole lot on social media, which tells me he is laser-focused. And with defense is really king on Chris Olave, I think he could take advantage against a Titan secondary that has its question mark. So, guy with the highest ceiling, and I think that's ultimately what you're chasing here in a PPR, is one, Michael Thomas. Fly the fleur-de-lis, baby. Good luck, Ezekiel. Next up, Joey in the ILL. Jags line dropped to -3.5 at 1 point this morning. Make it make sense, my Illini brother. It's a road game. It's the NFL. I think the leans and the splits that I saw this morning, it's like 71% of the public action right now is on Jacksonville. Now, I'm not one of those people. It's like, oh, I got to fade the public automatically. I mean, look what happened in college football yesterday in the Colorado-Nebraska game. Everybody and their great-grandmother were on Deion's bluffs, and the Sharps are like, nah, man, we're going to fade that noise. Nebraska's going to get the cover. Well, who got waxed? The Huskers. So there you go. Sharps get it wrong, too. They're not batting 1,000. But I do kind of like Indy because I feel that Captain Hook could come into play. It's purely a gut feeling. It's a complete guessing game right now. A lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainty. It's week 1. We need some sample size, and I always live and really adhere by the rule of 3 to take those strong, concrete observations and put them in my pocket after a 3-game set. But this is game 1. So we have no idea, but I would say, I'm not touching this game from a spread point, but if I had a lean, I got a $100 bill, burn a hole in my pocket. It's with the Colts, plus a 3.5 at home there at Lucas Oil. Good luck to you, Joey, and ILL. Taj, Kirk Cousins or Geno? It's nearly a tie in my rankings, but I believe I have Cousins 1 spot ahead of greenbacks making Geno Smith. And the only concern that I have for Geno in this game against the Rams is it could get lopsided early. Now, a lot of that damage could come from Geno Smith, but it mitigates his upside in terms of passing yards production if it does unfold that way. Kirk Cousins, I think, is going to be somewhat of a close game. I know Tampa, a ton of question marks there. Secondary, one of the primary strengths they have, Jamel Dean, it's going to be all over Justin Jefferson, but Jefferson is just a du jour. And he, you're going to have some pretty potent tranquilizers, I think, to contain him. And I just don't see it happening. So for me, pull it all together. Give me Captain Kirk. I'm going to say around 250 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns. Be similar to the Geno, but I think we'll barely best him. Great question, Tosh. Ryan says, PPR pick 2, Ramondre, Javonte Williams or Jamal Williams. Javonte's out. I am buying into this belief what the coaching staff is selling. Hey, he's going to be on a snap count, as he should be, coming off a catastrophic injury. They're going to ease him in. He's going to share the workload with the rookie who they elevated the practice squad, and also with Samaje Perine. I would be shocked if he got more than, say, 13 or 14 touches in this game. So knowing the limited volume there, and I know Stevenson is coming off an illness, but should be good to go. Not expected to be inhibited in any way. I'd rather play Ramondre and Jamal Williams, as I mentioned. I'm on anytime touchdown prop for a reason. I got some other action around him. I took the over on 15.5 rush attempts. I think he could be a very nice player. Back in RB1 potential for him today. Surefire RB2 in 12-team leagues in my estimation. So rah, and Jamal Williams for me. Best of luck to you, Ryan. Daniel says, PPR Lockett or DJ Moore. Oh, man. Hey, Mr. DJ, still playing in my head in the background, but Tyler Lockett is awfully attractive, knowing that the Rams may have the worst secondary in the league. Slight edge to Bear Down, Chicago Bears. Maybe it's because the Dick Buckus bobblehead is threatening to tackle me if I fade the Bear, but yeah, I'll go with DJ Moore. Really tough decision here. I don't think you're going to lose either way. So what I deem it as a lucky 7 situation. Play either card and you may splash a jackpot in the end. Jimmy says, welcome back, Brad. Waller or Everett? Got to go with a sure thing. And right now, Gerald Everett's healthy. And it could be scoreboard chasing in that Rams game against the Seattle Seahawks on the road. So knowing that, I got to play Everett. Go bird in hand unless you have a backup option that you can slide in like a Ferguson in that Giants-Cowboys game tonight, or maybe a Dalton Kincaid, for example, in the Monday Night Affair. But for me, I'm going to go with a surefire thing of a guy who's going to play and hopefully a full complement of snaps, and that is Gerald Everett. Luke Sias says, my man Brad, my man. PPR flex, Juwan Johnson, Juju, or Dobbs. If Dobbs were even 95% healthy, I would automatically go with him, but question marks. Soft tissue issue could flare up in the game, and he goes exit stage left. Ian Rappaport is saying he's going to be on a snap count. That is worrisome. I like Juwan Johnson as a deeper option, more so to slide in as a backup and elevate over a Mark Andrews, or if you're looking for a replacement that is healthy at the plus size position. Then Johnson, I think, fills that void. I'm going to go with Juju ever so slightly here. This could be like an 8-9 target sort of game for him against the Philadelphia Eagles, knowing that I believe the Patriots going to be scoreboard chasing. And Mac Jones going to have to turn somebody. Could be a whole lot of nickel and dimer action, as Billy Rapp would say. But if he gets 8-9 targets, it could be 5-6 receptions for like 60, 65 yards. Touchdown obviously would be welcome and a cherry on top of the Sunday, but it could still be a high floor kind of game at a PPR setting for Juju. Best of luck to you. Corey says, add and stream likely Musgraves. That's Luke, not Muscraves. After I pop a gummy, there is a need of a frozen pizza, usually about midnight for the Muscraves. But that is Luke Musgraves. Mr. Ferguson or drop Dolchich? No. I don't drop Dolchich. In fact, I would take Dolchich over all 3 of those guys. There you go. So you already got him on your roster. Plug him in, and hopefully he's going to have a hell of a lot better start to September than he really had in August. So Dolchich, to me, slight advantage there. The Raiders defense, that secondary, is going to be a bottom 5 unit, I feel, this year. Pete says, hola! You are enjoying a tequila. I actually am stone sober right now. I am enjoying a highball grapefruit energy drink soda. It's tasty, full of vitamins, caffeine, It's put a little pep in the step. That's what I need on the Sunday because I'm watching 7 hours of football on Red Zone. Nerd Call says, R.I.P. Kadarius Toney. Yes, rest in peace. I don't have any shares of Kadarius Toney, but I did play Sky Moore. Yeah, that sucked. 3 targets, no catches. If only Sky Moore was like, I don't know, 6'1", he would have caught all 3 of those balls. I would have hit on a 2-leg parlay that I had with Jahmyr Gibbs, who was also underutilized. Like the Thursday game, it's long in the past. I'm over it. Moving on, James says PBR, Najee Harris or Miles Sanders. And a PBR, I'm going to go with Najee Harris. It's closer than you think. But Sanders could share some of the workload there with Chuba Hubbard. Harris, Jalen Warren could come in and give him a breather, a few times in the contest. But I think he's catching 3 to 4 balls in this matchup for the Steelers as they're taking on San Francisco. And you got to work outside the tackle box. He may struggle as a runner in this game. Could be a bit of a plotter, but along the edges, in the flat, Kenny Pickett, hopefully we'll find him and really butter the bread in the end. Matt Ross says Schultz or Likely. Give me Isaiah Likely. Aubrey says, hola. Need a running back and a flex in a half-point PPR. Ramondre, rah. Mostert, Godwin, Jamal Williams, a running back and a flex. I'm going to flex Jamal Williams, and I'm going to go in the running back position with Mostert. Yeah, again, I think the ceiling is 100 yards and like 20 receiving with a touchdown or 2. And I think he's going to come close to that, quite honestly. I think he's going to be very close, somewhere in the 90s in total yardage, do a lot of damage on the ground. I don't buy the Chargers really rectifying their weakness defending the run from last season. So Mostert, indeed, a must start. DJ says, hola, Brett. Hola to you. Joe goes start 2, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, A.J. Dillon, and Devin Singletary. Well, the football Frankenstein, Seahole, Smashel. Derrick Henry's in my lineup. Hall is out. They're going to ease him in these first few weeks. And then give me A.J. Dillon over Devin Singletary for the other option there. I think A.J. Dillon could have a sneaky and effective and impactful game against my Chicago Bears. And the reason being is this. I think Green Bay's got a top 10 offensive line. I think Jordan Love is going to showcase a little bit of the duality. He's got some sneaky athleticism, and I believe the Bears defense is going to be a bottom 10 at a minimum unit this year. That is a major weakness on paper, certainly a work in progress. A.J. Dillon could be a master blaster, quadzilla, roar in this one. So give me him and give me the football Frankenstein there and Derrick Henry. Danny says Likely or a Okonkwo with Andrews out. I got Isaiah Likely. I ranked him tight end 7 to give you guys some additional context there. And let me just state what Isaiah Likely did last season when he ran at least 20 routes in a game. He did that 3 times. In the first game, 7 targets, 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. The second time, 5 targets, only 1 catch. That 1 catch, very valuable, a 24-yard touchdown. And in the third game, which he had at least 20 routes last year, 13 targets, 8 catches for 103 yards, but no score. If he comes anywhere close to either one of those lines, he is going to outperform my tight end 7 ranking. Very much on the table, entirely doable there. So give me Isaiah Likely. DJ, Love and Line is a great show. Hey, DJ, I applaud you, my friend. Thank you. A little background. I created the show, co-created with my friends at Stadium Sports. And when I was at Bally's with some of the brass that are there, I'm executive producer on the show. I co-host the show as well. I wrote a lot of the elements of it. I wanted it fast. I wanted furious. I wanted informative. I wanted to emphasize variety because it is the spice of life. And we're transparent and we're honest. We're just people who bet every single wager that you see on that show. We're invested in some way, maybe monetarily, but certainly mentally, because we're doing all the back work to bring you to light why we like a selection, whether Major League Baseball this time here, the NFL, soon the NBA, Cam even does the NHL, soccer he works, and we cover it all. UFC, we bring on guests if we don't know Jack Norris Squad, who knows a bunch of crap about other crap. Yeah, watch Live and Line, people. I'm very proud of the show. We've been after it over a year now. And DJ, thank you. Appreciate it. Brian says, should I start George Pickens or AJ Dillon as my flex? Dillon, for all the reasons I mentioned before, go with the Quadzilla. Joe says, hola, amigo, hola. Rough wide receiver tight end slot with Jerry Jeudy looking out. Yeah, I don't think he's going to play. If by some miracle he's active, don't trust him. Got Nico Collins. Can pick up Isaiah Likely. Throw me an art. It's Isaiah Likely. And this is no knock on Nico. Nico could be a sleepy Rick Van Winkle of sorts today. But for me, I could go Isaiah Likely. Again, let me read you 3 games. 20-plus routes run last year for Likely. 6 for 77 and a touch. 1 for 24 and a touch. 8 for 103 and no touch. I mean, those are gaudy numbers. Isaiah Likely. Bang it home with the Baltimore Raven. Keith says, so cool you're doing this, Brad. So happy I found it. Well, Keith, I am grateful that you are tuning in. For all the people that are tuning in, I appreciate the love and support. It's been a tough year for your boy. I'm glad Live Line is kicking ass, but nobody wants to pay writers anymore. It's just weird. The written word, it's not dying, but there are some people, younger audiences out there like, I'd rather listen to a pod. Well, I do those too. I'd rather watch a TikTok video, short video. I do a lot of short videos. Oh, ratings for nerds. Well, there's a lot of nerds who game, and nerds typically win. So I'm a nerd, though I only win on occasion. Thanks for watching, Keith. Brandon says Javonte or Scary Terry. Again, Javonte Williams with the snap limitations. I don't trust him. And I'm actually believing that narrative that's getting thrown out there by the coaching staff. I always thought he was going to be eased in. And, I nicknamed him Juggernaut Javonte. We had, a tune that was tied directly to him. Little REO Speedwagon on the old Sirius XM show. Fade the Noise. That's how much I love him. But right now, I got to see what he's really got. Really up in the air. They're going to ease him in. Second half of the season could be a different ball game. Keith says Higbee or Pitts today. Oh, I'm going to go Pitts. Oh, God, it's tough, though. I mean, you can make a really strong argument for Tyler Higbee, but it's a coin flip. Give me Pitts by news. Fernando says mortgage on Herbert over 1.5 passing touchdown sledgehammer. Are you saying daddy want, daddy need, daddy gotta have it? I think I have this. I've got like 50 tickets open. I don't remember every single wager that I made. And again, if you see it on the spreadsheet, I actually placed hard-earned money on that selection. It's real. That's how I roll. I'm always honest. I'm always transparent. I don't bullshit with anybody. If it's posted on the sheet, I have meaningful dollars backing it. I think I have Herbert somewhere on a 2-layer because he got you sky high on that over 1.5 passing touchdown. So that would be my suggestion to you is back that prop by all means, but pair it with something else you really like, reduce the juice, and then get seduced by the juice. That's my word of advice there, Fernando. Matt says, Khalil Herbert or Gabe Davis, give me the bear, please there, Matt. Good luck to you. Godspeed. DJ says, my question is Conquo Likely or Waller? Again, knowing the iffy status of Waller, and you got a viable backup there, great crutch, couple of them actually. I would go Isaiah Likely. Douglas says, Brad, do you like Chubb anytime touchdown? How do you not love a Chubb anytime touchdown prop? Yeah, get the bottle service in Chubb's glove, man. He can do it on the ground. He can do it as a receiver. I think the Browns are going to be sneaky effective today. They could win outright in this battle for Ohio against the Bengals at home. And, it's the rare instance where the weather in Cleveland is picture perfect. Remember last year, like every home game was just lousy for the Browns. Ezekiel says Dak or Anthony Richardson. Dak, but it's a hell of a lot closer than most people believe. Audrin says Mike Williams or Javonte Williams. Pick a Williams. Give me Mike over Javonte. Again, I think he's going to be eased back in. Andre says Dotson or Sutton in my flex. I'm all about Sutton today. Again, Jerry Jeudy not going to likely play. Marvin Mims is a rookie. Dolchich has been a roller coaster ride this summer. and his effectiveness. Javonte Williams, how many snaps are we going to play? May only be like 40, 45%. If the Broncos are going to move the football on offense and keep those chains, down the field, they got to move it. Russell Wilson to the 6'3" Cortland Sutton. And again, the secondary of the Raiders is very vulnerable. Nate Hobbs likely going to get toasted in this one, but still ILL. Peter says Rashad Penny's going to be a healthy scratch today. Sounds weird. Crap. Yeah, that's wonderful. Just wonderful. I am not a fan of him being a healthy scratch because I'm already pressed against back to the wall in a deep league at the running back position, and I have Rashad Penny as my RB2. So I'm going to wrap this up in a few minutes. I'm going to have to change my lineup and verify this is indeed the case, but that is strange. Doesn't make any damn sense. Good news for Gainwell. Great news for DeAndre Swift. Likely or Schultz from Steven. It's likely for me for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. Terry says Brian Robinson or Dalvin Cook. Brian Robinson. I'm going to say 16 a touch for him today. James, Mr. Ratchet Voice on XM, my man, and I appreciate that. The loudness and the singing still amazing. Let's hear a little Jalen Hurts theme song. I don't have, so I've got a soundboard here, but I'm missing a wire to plug into my audio box Go. So I don't have the sounder, but I'll just go ahead and do it a cappella. Hurts so good. Come on, Jalen, make it hurt so good. There you go. I'm a man of the people. Like Jalen Hurts quite a bit today. Anytime touchdown prop. Muy interesante. Hell yeah. Brad Evans completes the start of the fantasy football season. Walls, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Matt Roth says Bryce Hall or Javonte Williams. Yeah. Which method of torture do you prefer, sir? Do you want to go with the rack? Or do you go with like the rat in a cage with your head in it eating your face? Both are real. Both actually happened back in medieval times. Why do I know that? Because I have a green history. And I like weird crap like that. But I can't go Javonte. Give me Breece Hall. Yeah, that's the same question. Good luck to you, Matt. Steve says, hola, sir. Hola. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, though it's still 2023, but it's a new football year. That's right. Confidence in Javonte today, low. I go pivot. To Michael Pittman, in my opinion. Also, French dip or Chicago Italian beef. Italian beef all day with some giardiniera on top or some muffaletta as well. I do both. Oh, man. My Italian beef recipe, I'll have to post a little bit later on this year. It's not quite Italian beef season yet. I wait until the thermometer, the mercury drops like below 60. And then it's a great crock pot dish. I will share on the X Noisy Cuevas, my Italian beef recipe if you don't already have it or know it. Kimberly says, happy NFL season. Happy NFL season to you, Kim. John says, welcome back. Do I start Ravens or Eagles defense? Give me the Eagles. If I start the Ravens, do I sit Pierce and start Mike Williams? Now I'm starting Pierce. The Ravens, I think are going to be bottom 15. Could be even lower than that in total defense this year. Williams says, start DeAndre Swift now that Rashad Penny is a healthy scratch. So more Rashad Penny healthy scratch news. Yeah, it pisses me off. Again, I have to make a lineup changes. I was a big believer in Rashad Penny this year. Healthy scratch? It's weird. Guy was number one in yards after contact per attempt last year. I thought for sure he would get 8 to 10 carries in this game, and one of those 8 to 10 would be for a touchdown. But to no avail. Jenny says, late in the game, Mike Evans or Van Jefferson. Should I put the other in as a flex over Miles Sanders? No, play Sanders. I'm very intrigued by Jefferson, but give me my cousin, Mike Evans. Minnesota secondary could be a bit of a pushover this season. How about them Fighting Irish? Yeah, well, they lost me some money. Given the sledgehammer for 2 weeks, Irish over Buckeyes. I don't know what the line is yet. So I'm a gambling man. I'm not going to take Notre Dame on the money line. I know where your bias is going to bleed. I get it. Notre Dame's a great. Hartman's been money in the bank. But I got to see what the actual line is. I'm going to guess Ohio State like -2.5, something like that. We'll see. G. Palacios. Hola, amigo. Hola. 14-team standard league. Oh, man, standard leagues. People still playing those? Brian Robinson or Javonte Williams? All day, Brian Robinson. Really good shot for him to score a touchdown. Keith says also we need I know what you did. Yes, that's what that's referencing. French fans here. Yeah, there you go, Keith. For your Frenchies. Thai France, maybe? That's Major League Baseball. Danny says, flex question amigo. Jalen Reed or Antonio Gibson? Give me Jalen Reed. Todd says, Addison or Gabe Davis? Give me Addison. Matt says, Herbert or Gabe Davis? Again, Herbert. Palacios asks, again, give me 1 in a 10-team PPR. Dobbins, Sanders, or Pierce? I'm going to go JK. Kimberly says, full point PPR flex. P. Ryan, AJ Dillon, or Brandon Cooks? I like Brandon Cooks tonight against a very young, inexperienced, and exploitable secondary of the New York Football Giants. What a good props today. Rewind the show. I gave you my top 5 off the top of the show. Number 1 was Jamal Williams, anytime touchdown. And I've got a spreadsheet, man, with like 50 tickets open on it. Go to Noisy Huevos at the X. You get all that information. KGGG unit, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, or Hopkins. Give me big Mike Williams. John says, pick 2 in a PPR. Keenan Allen in. D-Hop out. London, maybe. Lockett, Cooks. Ooh. Cooks or Lockett? Cooks. Give me Lockett. It's close between Lockett and Cooks for that second spot. Wondrous ATX. Terry McLaurin in a full point PPR or Lockett. Give me Lockett. Put him in your pocket. Sarah says, would you play Mims today to have point PPR? What are your other options? I wouldn't. Again, I think Cortland Sutton's going to get force-fed. I think you're going to get a decent amount of Greg Dulcich in this game. We'll see about Mims. But it is his first meaningful NFL action. And, he was rather inconsistent in the preseason like any rookie is. Mastaquila says Wonders. Yeah, Mastaquila. Amen. Kirk says trade Dillon and Cotton. Were we trading players already? We had 1 game. Come on. No. Don't. Just wait. Just wait. Don't be trading guys immediately. There's way too many trade-happy people out there in fantasy football. Let it simmer. Live by the rule of 3. Get a 3-game sample size. Then you make hard and fast decisions. Brian says, Breece or Deion Jackson. I'll take Breece Hall. Dave says, Olan a standard. God, more standard leagues. Tank Bigsby or Deion Jackson? Who's got the better chance to score? Probably Tank, honestly. Brandon Stockton. Brad, you're a dog. Boof, boof, boof. I am. So happy. This is back. Let's go. Smash the hammer. Well, if you want the hammer, Daddy need, Daddy gotta have it. Sledgehammer. There it is. You ask, you shall receive. Kimberly is live online, restreamable. Some of us have work at noon Eastern, LOL. Bits and pieces are across the social media channels of the show, on the X in particular, and also at stadium.com. You can get chunks of it, but I think for contractual reasons, we cannot restream the whole show in front of a paywall. I believe that's the case. I don't know. But you can still get meaningful stuff on social media platforms and bite-sized chunks. Sledgehammer! Yeah, well, I gave it to you already. You ask, you shall receive. Jonathan says, good to see you back. Best in business. Oh, thank you. Way too kind. Likely or Juwan? Slight lean. Isaiah Likely getting him ranked as a top 7 tight end. Joe says P. Ryan or Deion Jackson. Give me Samaje. I got my doubts about Deion Jackson. Half point PPR, Gibson or Javonte. Give me Gibson. Kirk, that was your answer there. Robert says scratch that itch. Michael Thomas or DJ Moore. Give me DJ. Hey, Mr. DJ Moore. Ryan says Higby or Likely. Ooh, very close, but I got Likely. Ezekiel, love you. Thank you. I love you too. Going to stream on Thursday with Thunson. I don't think so right now. I might do some individual broadcasts on Thursday with a tequila in hand. I didn't do it this last week, but it might come back. It may not. We'll see. Hey, Big Noise. Is Herbert RB1 for the Bears? Yeah, but it's going to be a loose committee of sorts. Deonta Foreman's going to see some action. I think Rashawn Johnson is going to see some actions. Any weather conditions be aware of? No. Some rain in the forecast in Baltimore, but these guys aren't witches. They're not going to melt. Again, the biggest deterrents weather-wise are strong winds, gusty winds, sustainable winds. Sustainable winds with 25 miles an hour or greater. We don't have any of that today, really, to worry about. So, no, passing. Joe says, I do not need any advice this week. Just really want you to drop the hammer. Oh, yeah, daddy want, daddy need, daddy have it. People really love it when I shout at them and drop the sledgehammer. Gypsy Queen, hi. DJ, Godwin or Dotson? Dotson for me. Gypsy Queen, I need to start two in a full point PPR. Brian Robinson in, Najee out, Ayuk in, Michael Thomas out. There you go. William N says Swift or McLaurin. Knowing the Penny news, I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. Again, I'm miffed by that. Abraham says flex OBJ, Jaden Reed, or Musgrave. Give me Jaden Reed. Cage Unit defense, Patriots, Seahawks, or Denver. Give me Seattle. Dave says, hey again, how about Tank Bisbee or Gainwell? I'll roll dice on Gainwell. Get no Rashad Penny and a standard. Get Penny out of your lineup, Brad. Yeah, which means I need to get the hell out of here. I got 10 minutes to do so. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for bringing the noise. Again, I'm going to be here every single week at this 11 a.m. time, Central, noon Eastern. Please check out Live and Line Monday through Friday on the Valley Sports RSNs and watchstadium.com/live. It's all gambling all the time. Pepper in a little bit of fantasy here and there. Nate Lundy and I do the Fade 5 podcast. Back to a 3-day per week schedule. We'll have a new episode tomorrow, breaking down the entire Monday night game from a sports betting perspective. I'm writing my fantasy flames for social media only this season, unless somebody wants to hire me and pay me what I'm worth. Totally down with that. Other than that, I think that's everything. And I'll make some appearances here and there. I'm doing appearances on Michelle Beadle at her new show with my buddy Cody Decker on Mad Dog Sports Radio every single Friday on Sirius XM. I do appearances on VSiN, and chances are you're going to see me just randomly pop up on a screen at your local watering hole. Best of luck in week 1. And until next time, adios, amigos. Got to get Penny on my damn line.